where we explore facing fear, leaning into challenges, and pursuing a life that we truly desire. And in this episode, we have an absolutely amazing guest, and I'm excited to introduce Anthony Ross. He's an artist, a mentor, and founder of FAES, the Fantasy Art Embodied Sanctuary, which sounds absolutely amazing. His work sits at the intersection of creativity, healing, personal transformation. And Anthony, I appreciate you and thanks for jumping on today. And we'll dive into your story and all the challenges that you've overcome to pursue your dreams. So let's dive into like what got you started down this path.
That's great. I'm glad to be here and just making sure my tech is working here. Close that. There, I can see you now. Yeah, what got me started down this journey of art and expression? Well, I would say, as a kid, everyone draws, right? Everyone creates, and I just never stopped. And a lot of people stop, they move on to something else. For me, I just had a passion for it, an interest in it. And I remember some of my early influences of art was Robert Bateman, Norman Rockwell, or way back would be the Far Side comics. And but it wasn't really until 10 years ago that I discovered the school Watts Atelier and the teacher Jeff Watts, who really inspired me and showed me that it could be taken to a new level of spiritual mastery and self-mastery, and that the arts, learning them at a high level, can be this really empowering sense of being able to see the world with more beauty and express yourself more fully and create things that are more beautiful than you could imagine.
Yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned previously in our conversations that, I grew up, my mother was an artist. And so, we actually had some interesting experiences with her evolution in art, getting plaster poured on my face and straws stuck up my nose and getting wrapped in chicken wire and, having to bring Jesus in from the garage, which was a piece that was like a 8-foot tall glass, imagery with a light box and things like that. So it was a very interesting experience growing up with art and expression. And, I have a father who's an engineer and a mother who was an artist. So there's like this unique way that I do see the world as a result of that. And I think entrepreneurship too is artistic, bringing something from the imagination into the world. And then I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine who does, he does movies, and his movies are a way of transforming people's lives, so telling storytelling. And I think art also tells stories, or art also can transform somebody's life. If they look at this image and it sparks something inside of them that they remember who they are in the beauty, art can be a transformational experience as well. So I use adventure and, that whole realm in order to get people connected with themselves. My friend uses movies, and today we're talking about how art, connects us to us ourselves, and is this transformational experience when we allow ourselves to step into that.
Yeah, I think it's really about the medium, whatever it is, film, art, that it becomes not just about creating something, but about what it does for you and the transformation in that process, right? And I think technical skill is one thing, but then the capacity to hold the different parts of ourselves that want to be expressed and that we might want to hide, we might not be comfortable using that part creatively because it doesn't maybe fit in society, or doesn't we were told it wasn't safe to do so in our household or something like that. that's when, the art transcends and becomes this inner transformation process, where a lot of the work I do with my painting, but outside of my painting also, is about embodiment and accessing what I've struggled with to express, to be open about, and to let that have a voice.
Yeah. What do you think your most embodied work of art is? I know each one of them has like a life or an essence or a soul, but which work of art that you've done so far that is the most embodied of who you are?
Well, it's hard to say because, like, I made a piece recently called Dissociation. And, you know, I could say that I put that part of myself in there, but then if I'm going to be relating to that piece, which is about dissociating, maybe what I feel from it is actually more dissociation. So it's hard to tell. Maybe I don't have the objective point of view with this, right? And I had someone tell me yesterday, or 2 days ago, that she saw peace and she was like, "That's you," and that illuminates. And whatever you bring into your art, well, you're illuminating that part of yourself, right? And sometimes I do, like, right now I'm working on a really my own version, sort of a